Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Motorsport Manager. The Timmix here, and it is time to start the final Pro Level Challenge, the 9th out of 12 challenges overall. From the Ashes, 10 races in duration, and it is down to medium difficulty again, officially. Things were looking great for Windsor Racing this year. A good car, excellent support staff, and some of the best drivers in the series. That was until, after just 6 races into the season, their design center burnt down now. Unable to build any new car parts for the season, Windsor need to try and win the championship. So, fire in the design center, we can't design any parts, still got to win the team's title. We get an investor for Create Team if we succeed, the Jander Mole investor. We can't leave the team, we can't build new car parts, and it's 10 races, so a little bit faster than the previous seasons, but this one it is 6 races in, 10 to go, so basically a third of the season is behind us, and it sort of dumps us into a challenging but fairly simple situation. And the of course the challenging part is obviously not being able to design new parts, but it also makes things a lot simpler because we're going into this, and all we've got really to do is to work on the parts that we have. You see our finances are looking great, $7+ million to the good, and it really doesn't matter what the finances are that much because, again, we can't really do anything, with that money. That's going to matter in time. I'm going to take a look at the calendar and the HQ, and maybe we can do something there. But I don't see us doing anything that's going to matter for this season. So it's really just make the best of what we have. Now, we've got Lipinen in 1st, Oliveira in 6th. And we are actually leading over Scuderia Rossini. You can see by the gap, after 6 races, it's already pretty clear. It's going to be us versus Scuderia. That's going to be the deal here. So, as for me, I am Agatha Wells, 43-year-old woman with a financial backstory. It's our first female team principal, if I'm not mistaken, so that's kind of interesting. Nice to have some variety there. And we're showing all the other ones. We start with our usual 8 in the 3 key stats. Nothing too special there. And Hank Lippman from the WSN World Sports Network is wondering, is Windsor's championship up in smoke? Disaster struck Windsor Racing yesterday after a freak accident set their design center ablaze. All staff were evacuated safely. Unfortunately, the lack of a design center means Windsor won't be able to produce any new parts for the rest of the season. Chairman Francis Marshall isn't worried, however, stating, "I have the utmost confidence in my principal and our fantastic team. Yesterday was a shocking setback, but we will persevere." Windsor have had a surprisingly good start to the season, leading the championship standings by over 10 points. However, a stagnant car means they need to get most of their points early before the rest of the pack inevitably surpasses them. That's going to be complicated. Here's our car. Our car is only 3rd. We have an engine in 3rd. We have acceleration gearbox just 5th. We do have the best brakes. Our low-speed corners front wing sucks. And you see Jander Mole being one of our sponsors here. You've got a bunch of, this is a pretty bland design. I gotta be honest. Not a big fan of this livery. But then the suspension is 4th. And the rear wing is 1st. So we've got a mix. The only one that's a real problem is the front wing. But again, we can't do anything about it. So, and if we go to design new part, yeah, it won't let you. It won't even let you get into the screen. Okay, so we'll take a look at our parts in a bit. First of all, if we go to the calendar, a couple things I want to see here. We're now at the 30th of June. Or it's not the 30th, but it's going to be. We only have less than a week for our first race. And then it's going to be, so, yeah, I mean, we're looking at just over 6 months. If we take a look at the HQ and what can we build, Yeah, that's going to help us within 6 months. And let's say we built, 16 weeks. None of this stuff we would have, for very long. It doesn't, the sponsor stuff wouldn't matter. Telemetry center. If we built the simulator, they'd improve adaptability and consistency, and then they'd still have that for, like, the last couple months. We can't do this upgrade. We can't upgrade the factory. And these are too expensive. So we might improve our adaptability and consistency, but one of the big things about a lot of these buildings, they unlock better parts. Well, that doesn't matter. Or it's long-term stuff like the scouting facility, or it's financial like the helipad. I'm just not going to bother. I don't see the need for it. So if we take a look, let's take a look at our people here. Aki Lipinen, like the helmets here, 26 years old, good driver. You see 15 or better at everything. Struggles under pressure. So, yeah, we'll want to keep this. It's important to look at these, especially in this situation. Sponsor bonus is 3rd or above. So if we'll want to keep the sponsor bonus to be 4th or below, because money doesn't really matter. Focus is +2. Cat bitten by a radioactive spider. -30 marketability and +30 morale. It's happy to be here. So that's all good. So we want 4th or worse for the sponsors. Then Anna Oliveira is not as good. Focus is not that great. So she's solid, but she, at 3.5 stars isn't bad at all. But she's not, not at the best level. Lipinen's clearly the better ones. Feels threatened when the mechanic is better. And right now that's true. So Sparrow, her mechanic is too good. But their relationship's so good I don't think I want to change it. Loves Rio de Janeiro, does great there. Is 35, so it's got the age problem, and dedicated. Gives +10 to the mechanic relationship. So we've got the engine expert, which is one of my favorite abilities, so that's nice. And then our reserve driver, he actually isn't bad, but hopefully we won't have to use him. You can see we've got a 4-star designer, two 4-star mechanics. And this one is not going anywhere. Okay, so the risk taker might potentially be there. Refueling is faster, and then park condition fix time are 2 times faster. Probably not going to use those. I usually don't. Let's just switch over to the finances. And again, we always want to go to the low one just because, why not? We're not going to be around for next year. Let's skip the sponsor for now. Let's take a look at our rules. Long practice sessions, 20 minutes. We've got pretty good feedback ratings with the 2 drivers we've got, so we should be able to max out most of our stuff. Long qualifying sessions. Longer races. Let's see, simultaneous pit, merit, top 10 get points. And the tire stuff just isn't that important, although we can use whatever compounds we want, okay? And 3 tire compounds available. So that's going to be more choices for us. The sort of the flip side of what happened. Last time it was pretty limited. 15 tires per race weekend. We're going to be able to basically do what we want with the tires. Both types of safety cars. We don't do any refueling during the race. And that's pretty typical of the single-seater open-wheel racing, but obviously going to be much different than... we used that in the single-race challenge that we just did, bottom to the top, but it was much different you know, in the previous ones where we had the GT, we're making stops. Qualifying base grid, standing start, and we do have weight stripping. So we can't refuel, but we do have weight stripping. So the stops are just going to be, let's switch tires and get back out there for the most part. Okay, let's take a look at our parts. And here's where we've got to sort of figure things out. So the gearbox, the brakes, and the front wing, the most important parts for the next race. Let's just clear everything out and take a look. So we've got, there were some parts that were made, but they weren't actually, like, this one was supposed to be an improvement, and it's actually worse than the originals. Okay, so whatever. The rear wings are what they are. And the really weird one here is this engine that's got like a high red zone, but it's actually so much better that it's worth it if we just sort of max it out. Now, we wouldn't want that on a track where the engine is a crucial item because it is just going to get into the red zone no matter what we do with it. But I think we'd want it on the other ones. So I think we're probably going to want to, you know, to have like 3 engines boosted up all the way. So, okay, so yeah, acceleration, deceleration, low speed. We've got the full factory, 8 parts, so that's nice. But right now, I mean, none of our parts are really close to being maxed out on reliability, and we're going to need to do that so we can do the most weight stripping, and then we're going to want to work on the performance. So our factory is going to be busy. Let's see, 12, blah, blah, blah. Reliability 12 and 20 performance. Reliability 16, 17 performance. Okay, that's where we're going to want them then. Sparrow and reliability, and Harrison on the performance side. So I think for now, we'll get to that one later, but for now let's use, I think we're going to want to use this engine at 70 and then that one, which is a big performance difference, but we're going to need to do it. Let's see, we've got a 70 and an 80. And then what was it, the front wing? Yeah. 75 and 80. The engines seem to be really behind. Especially that one. So I'm going to want to work on that reliability. And get that boosted up. And I'm probably going to want to, only got 6 days. Okay. I want to get the, see if I can get the crucial parts up to like 80 maybe. So that would be all of those. And then the not crucial parts up to 70 would be nice. So then throw on the suspension. And yeah. I mean, I think that's roughly the right priority that I want to follow here. And performance-wise, I mean, let's just throw on, we're not going to give any help there, but let's just, since we're going to, oh, that one's already maxed out. And we're going to want to eventually boost this, but it's not going to be useful yet. So we'll throw on the 2 gearboxes. Because, I mean, at 40%, we can't make that useful by the time this race rolls around. How far, I wonder, is the next one? Okay, 2 weeks, and then we have more time. So we're going to gradually, and the parts are in such need of help that we're going to have to just gradually work these things up. We're going to work on the crucial parts for each race in the performance, and no. Definitely throwing it all into reliability for now. That's going to be absolutely vital. Okay. So let's move forward with that. And Lippinen wants a test track. That's nice. No, we can't design anything, remember? Wexler's been tipped as the driver to beat. Dieter Wexler, who is, I'm sure, of Scuderia Rossini. And Saarinen says, not over till it's over. I've got what it takes to beat Lippinen. Panthers' Nikolai Surikov, hoping to make a few waves. And Lucy Gilbert says, Anna could present herself better when it comes to interacting with the press. Communications expert has a slot available. How to talk right. Media training course. Should we sign Anna up for it? Add personality, media trained. Costs $1 million. I really don't care, but why not? I mean, it's just not going to matter. Okay, we saved a little bit because we have the financial background deal. Let's take another look at where we're at. Here, and we're up to 70%. Yeah, and again, the engine, not an essential one. We still want to get this brakes up to 80, and that's going to get there. That's going to get there. And the gearbox probably going to get there. The suspension, not as critical. Okay, let's work on the crucial parts a bit more. Let me throw in this one. And this one. And yeah, the brakes, not going to be able to get it any better than that. Okay, yeah, let's do that, I think. And it's time for Cape Town. Let's look at our sponsors. We already have Jandermol, who's 8th or above. And this spot is 11th, 12th, 16th or above. Goodness, this is a low-ranking one. So, you know what, let's just take the money. Why not? And then first, second, or second. Okay, and we're not going to use this one. So we definitely want to take the cash up front. Slightly better deal for Northern Harbor here. Okay, so it's going to heavy rain, and followed by heavy rain in Cape Town. 64 laps. My goodness. That's a lot. And obviously we're going to want to take Jandermol because, again, Northern Harbor would mess with Lippinen's confidence. So if it's going to be heavy rain, then, yeah, I think Ultra Softs, Super Softs, or Softs. We're probably looking at Super Softs being best. We'll, of course, want some Ultras for qualifying. Softs, probably not so much. It's only one qualifying session. So let's go with 4. And a couple softs just in case. Let's call it 8 and 3. Nah, 9 and 2 do it. I just don't see us using the softs. So I'm off. If I'm off on the temperature, then I'll pay for that. But you know, at 15 degrees, should be able to use the supers. And Lippinen is delighted, only content, and they're equal status drivers. I should try to make them equal. Let's check out where we're at on that. And the engine is just such a big difference that I think I should give Oliveira the best of everything else. Yep, they both think their parts are better. So we're predicting Lipponen to finish 7th and Oliveira to finish 8th. Well, that's not too exciting. And look at overall our cars. Still 3rd, 5th, 1st, 6th. I don't think this has changed. 5th on the suspension, although we're near the top. So a lot of the top teams have good suspensions. Yeah. So that appears to be all the same. We are 5th, 1st, and 6th. So we've got problems on a couple of the key parts, especially the front wing. But at least this will keep our drivers happy, and it is more equitable. I don't know that we'll be able to do any weight stripping here, but let's take a look at the numbers. I don't think we can. Definitely not on those. Yeah, I don't think we have the reliability to spare to reduce any of these parts. So I think we're doing no weight stripping on this one and just seeing what we can do. They all say they want supers, and it's supposed to be heavy rain for everything, so naturally it's clear and dry. Go weather reporting! Or weather predictions. Not exactly at the best place. And yes, we have the front wing angles instead of the whole deal with shifting the ballast around. Got to get used to that again. So we should be able to, again, max out our key things and maybe even get some good qualifying bonus. But, to start with, let's just go with our super softs and our race trim. And let's see where we are for this first race. Let's not go crazy. And I didn't do any races ahead of time in this. I took a brief look at stuff, and that's about it. But again, it is a fairly, not necessarily easy, but fairly simple thing. It's not something where I got to spend a lot of time figuring out what parts to design. We're just either going to be able to execute at a high enough level and get the parts straightened around quickly, or we're not. So let's go ahead and go out there and... you know what, Lipponen? I'm going to let you do your 1 lap of qualifying, since you want to. And then, yeah, race trim of 4. And here we go. Lipponen looking good at 6.6 and Oliveira at 5.1. Our first little bit of work here. With the new team, the new drivers... find out what we've got. A lot of soft tires, and then pretty much equal numbers of ultras and supers. Oliveira wants to come in already. Sure, why not? You can see the temperature going down a little bit on the Super Softs while we're at 12 degrees. It's going to be 15 during the race. But I mean, that just confirms that 15 be about the right temperature for these tires. And you want the handling stiffer too. Well, fine then. So both drivers want that sharpened up. And again, I think we've got the time to do it. Slowly rolling down pit row. 64%, not going to win any awards. So which direction do we want to go for the speed? And I'm going to guess acceleration on this track. Then probably a little bit more downforce. Not that much though. Let's try that. 4 laps, race trim. And then for this one, I'm going to have them do their 4 laps regardless. Then have them come back in. See where we are. 59%. Yuck. So again, we'll boost the handling. The speed, looking to be a little bit better, but it's not quite there. And again, if I'm wrong, then I'm going to pay for it with both drivers. Yeah, I don't want to go that far. Not that far either. Let's do something like that. I think that's worth trying. And Oliveira are going to have a quicker change. But yeah, I mean, we're already hit level 1 on the Super Softs. And we pretty much just want to hit the marks that we can, the race trim and the Super Softs, and then we'll want to boost to whatever we can get for qualifying and the Ultras. You know, there's no double points the last race of the season. There's no points for fastest lap or pole that I recall. I was pretty sure there's none of that in there. Definitely I'll want to double check on that at some point. But so it looks like we're just, you know, it's just a case of going through the races, and it's us versus Scuderia. Just over 5 minutes for us to get to level 2 tires. Fourth and 6th, now 4th and 7th, but that's looking pretty good. Okay, you want the handling the way it was before. Well, guess what? You told me to stiffen it up, so you're just going to have to sit out there for a while and deal with it. Yep, they both think the handling is worse. There's our level 3 there. Let's bring in Lippinan. Have Oliveira stay out there to hit our race trim, I think. We'll switch to Ultras in qualifying. It looks like we're going to be able to hit everything with these drivers. 73 and 64, and the time is quite a bit. Okay, we're in great and great. So obviously the main thing that we want to do is get the handling like up here or something. Maybe not quite that high. Yeah, we'll try it. Qualifying trim, maximum qualifying length, and ultra softs. And it is going to rain. So we're going to be ready to switch over to that. With about, say, 6 minutes left. %, still not stupendous, for the same reason the handling's terrible. Move it that way. I want to move you down a little bit here. Yeah. Qualifying trim, max length, switch the tires. And right back out for Oliveira. Both drivers driving well. Then let's see, if we look at, it's going to be heavy rain. Of course, the question is always, like, I tend to go towards inters instead of wets. So if it's going to be heavy rain for all three, I mean, those right there, those levels are probably just high enough to support wets. It's really a question of which one I want. And then the question is, how long is it going to rain? Like, if it's a sustained heavy rain, then, you know, probably wets are better. But I'm gonna go with the averages, which is usually like some heavy rain and some lighter rain, and inners end up being better. They just typically do. And even the ultras, they're at 11 degrees. They're cooling off. That's interesting. So who knows, maybe Ultras would have been the better tire. But I'm not betting on that. Oliveira liking the new handling. And we're up to level 1 on Ultras. Leapinen likes the arrow. Not too long till the rain's gonna hit. I'd like to get to level 2 on Ultras. But if it's supposed to rain for the race, the best thing would actually be to get everybody, you know, as much as possible on the wetter tires. So I'm going to come in earlier rather than later and switch to inters. Lippinen looking really strong there. 96%, so maybe we can make it a bit better by improving the handling. So poor, very poor, and great. So I'm not sure which way to tweak this. We will want to tweak it some. Qualifying, max laps, inters. Let's tweak it back towards the middle, and then we'll just see how that goes. And we no longer have, of course, practice part 2, otherwise known as qualifying part 1. You know, we need to be ready by the end of this session, which it appears that we certainly will be. %, is not bad, but the downforce isn't quite there. So very poor, and then great, and then good. So we'll want to move it pretty close to the edge. Leave that right where it is. What about acceleration? Gear ratios. Good, great, and great. So I'm not sure which way to go with that one. I'll just try that. That way I don't even need to change that setting, and switch to inters. So now we're looking to max out the qualifying trim. We're almost there, and we're going to get the inters rolling. Should be able to come pretty close to maxing them out, at least level 2. Ultras, not quite to level 2, but we're betting on the rain because it's supposed to rain every single session. And race and qualifying are maxed. Most other drivers going on inters too, so they generally made the same call. Not all of them. Saarinen going with wets. Surikov in wets, but of course Saarinen the more important one. Oliveira liking the downforce change. And there's our level 1 for the inters, and it's going to be close. I think we probably hit level 3 on that, but not at all sure we're going to make it. Sleeping and liking the gear ratios. Excellent. Level 2 on inters, I don't think we're going to make it. Particularly since we've got Lippinen coming in. I don't have time to get him back out again. So he's done. Here's Oliveira. About halfway through the last lap. And now almost all the drivers have changed to wets. Both drivers at excellent, excellent, great. So we're very close if we didn't hit it. Oliveira 5th, but Lippinen only 11th in the practice, and both over a second behind. That's not exciting, especially on a lap of, or track of just over 1 minute. And Marco Trentini says, okay-ish. We'll find out the real pace on Sunday. That's very true. Looking at partly sunny / partly cloudy here. Stick where we are with the weight stripping. For the qualifying, okay, it's... Yeah, see, it's only gonna... Boy. Be faster on drier tires, so I think we want to wait, like put on the inters or whatever and just test things out, and then go out, say about 5 minutes left, go out for a real qualifying run on ultras. Which means qualifying and ultra. %. We'll stick with that. Leave you on... You know what? We're just gonna... Yeah. 96%. Not really happy with that. Let's see if we can't do anything with your setup. See, that was great. That was great. Great. That was also great. So yeah, we want to boost. I'd like to get the top speed up about there. Let's just try that. So Oliveira. Just going to do a start and stop for you. Later on we'll do the one run basically worth doing. And with only a 1 minute lap, I can probably get away with going out definitely no sooner than 3 minutes left. Oh, hold on. It's going to get wet again later. Okay, so can we get in a dry lap? Go out. We need to be in by 3. So if we go out at 6. Yeah, I think that's our best shot. Go out at 6 minutes. Oliveira first. This is going to be really dicey, but the idea is that I don't want to go out when there's a lot of water on the track, because it'll be faster for the drier parts. There won't be very much water if you look, you know, in that 4 to 5 minute range. 4 minutes especially, there's not going to be a whole lot of... So if we go out at 6, then we're going to have... The first driver will be doing their run from 4 to 5 minutes with minimal water, and then Lipinen will have even less. And hopefully be done with that lap about the time that it starts raining again. That's the general idea. Let's just speed along till that point in time. You can see the times here. I mean, they're several seconds slower than practice was. You will. Now it's going down. And I'm going to try to just edge this a little bit. Take it down to 550. There we go. So, ooh, 99%. Very well done. You go out on ultras. Down to 5.5 on your form, and you're right behind another car. None of that is optimal. So 99 and 98%. Gonna be strong there, and fighting with traffic here also. Outstanding. Perfect, barely, but you can see Oliveira starting her lap with, you know, almost no issues. No wetness on the track. Doing our best to take advantage of conditions, and Oliveira 2/10, the fastest so far. Now by almost a second. And nobody else is out here doing a lap right now, except for Ribeiro's finishing up. But, you know, the few cars on Ultras are in the pits. So, I mean, just... That was very nice. And then Lipinen's actually slower. And he's got more rain coming. So now I don't really see anybody getting that fast. I think we've got the front row because we were smarter about the weather. Certainly would seem so. Just roll through the rest of this. There we go. So we hit sponsor objective easily. We're the only two to set a qualifying time on Ultras because we have a brain. We timed out the weather well. So that really should be a help for us in trying to survive this first race in decent shape. Took a moment to save it real quick in case I do anything particularly dumb in the race and may want to redo it, but again, most time I won't do that. I'll just stick with whatever happens. So, let's see what we have. XBC Sport impressed with our qualifying. Flawless driving from Anna Oliveira. Way to drive on a dry track. Everybody's driving on a wet one. Looks we got decent weather to start. And, yeah, okay, it's going to... Again, it looks like Inter's the right choice, at least early on. And we're going to want to be on dry tires until... Let's see. Do a little bit of math here. Lap 22-23. Well, let's take a look at our... Yeah, those aren't going to last quite that long. Super Softs might. So I think we actually want to go out on Supers. Even though they're going to be slower, other cars are going to pass us. We don't have to pit twice before the weather hits. That's the deal here. Bit of a risky choice, but I'm going to do it. And the other thing that is going to happen here is I usually like to take off about 2 laps of fuel when you can't refuel, and then be fairly cautious. And I'm definitely going to be cautious in this race. So we look at that. We're going to spend at least a fair amount of it on the wets, on the inners. So let's go with the inters and the race trim. Let's let Oliveira push it a little more, so do the race trim and the engine expert, because it doesn't impact condition. And do I want to let her carry more fuel for that reason? I think I do. I'll only knock off 1 lap from her. Give her an extra lap of fuel to deal with. So yeah, start on the Super Softs. And with 64 laps, you know, that's really not that much of a fuel thing. But, you know, I'm going to be careful here. See how it goes. Adjust as we move forward in the season. And, of course, we're going to max out to start. Because being in the front row, behind us on... are with 8s. We've got a 4 for Oliveira, 6 for Lipponen. With 8s behind us are DeGraff and Flores. And then Woodford and Blanc. But Wexler for Scuderia Rossini back in 8th in row 4. And Saarinen not being seen until row 6, middle of the pack. So... it may not last, but we're starting off ahead of them. Let's ride with Oliveira, our pole sitter, as we start the first race of the From the Ashes deal here, although Lipponen jumping ahead within seconds. Oliveira already back to 5th. While Lipponen at least doing a decent job of holding off the pack. He's showing why he leads the championship so far. Look at that 2-second lead now. Lipponen just blowing people away. Where did that come from? Shoot. Well, you know what? Let's go down to medium and push. Yeah, 2.5 seconds. Let's go all medium. I mean, if we're going to be doing that well, and here's Oliveira in 2nd. Looking reasonably comfortable. We'll go down to high and push for her. I don't know why we're doing this well. I'm also not arguing with it. Yep, okay, we'll switch back to medium. And, you know, I do not believe I've ever carried 60 laps of fuel before, so that's going to make things interesting here. And behind now we have Wexler and Saarinen. So look at this. It's going to be, you know, it's Windsor versus Scuderia. Right now, you know, we would be in brilliant position. Though I don't know if they stick with Oliveira, but a 3-second lead for Lipponen already. And tires are dropping down in temperature. Let's take a look at our wear. We're at 85% after first 4 laps for Lipponen. And we want to get through about 22 laps. Let's see how much we're chewing per lap. Just feels so weird after all the manipulation on Surging Absurdity. I don't have the battery meter here. Yeah, so it looks like we're chewing about 4%. A little less than 4% per lap. Want to get through 17 more laps, 68. Yeah, we're gonna have real worn tires by that point. So we're gonna want to keep them. I think we might be able to just make it, but we're definitely going to want to keep the tires as low as we can. I think we might just make it to the rain. Might have to pit a little bit sooner than I wanted. Might have to burn them all the way down to... They're definitely going to be in the red by then. So we're really sort of stretching it here and maybe should have started on softs. But I mean, look at Wexler and Saarinen can't even hang with Oliveira. Oliveira with a couple second lead on him. So we are looking fabulous in the early going. Seven laps done. Many laps to go. 57 more to go. And so far, our lead doing nothing but growing. And, you know, we're not getting great ratings from the drivers either. 5.5 for Lipponen, 4.5 for Oliveira. I mean, that's average at best between the two. Seem to be holding now at about a 7-second lead. About 5 over Oliveira, 7 over Wexler, 8 over Saarinen. And we're going to have to push a little bit on the tires now. Going to be painful, but it's necessary. 13 degrees. It was supposed to be 15 today, and it is eventually going to get up that high, but and we'll push with Oliveira. And the tire temperature not rising very much. You know, I don't know if we're going to make this. The other thing is we're going to want to have the other tires for like at least half the race. Let's take a look at how much they can take. Yeah, we're going to want to be doing like 2 stints of inters. I think we can make it. The more I look at the numbers, I think we can make it. Might get down to about 10 to 15% on the tires. And Woodford goes in, the first driver to hit the pits. And that should be enough. We'll switch back to neutral for now. Lipinen flashes down below the 5.0 mark. Oliveira also getting worse, but our lead is still growing. Or at least it was while we were pushing on the tires some. So far, it's looking more like one of the earlier challenges where we just ran away with everything. But, of course, we're not sure about our park condition, although it's looking pretty strong so far. Vidal, the latest to go in. And there's 15 laps of dry racing down. It's going to be dry at the very end also. But roughly the middle half, or from about, you know, it's not really the middle half, but from a third or so through the race on to close to the end, we're going to have some wet weather. And time to start pushing again. Probably got about 3 to 4 more laps of good tires, and then we're going to start slowing down. Saarinen really falling back with the tire problems. Wexler staying close to Oliveira. Only half a second behind. So that could be a challenge to us. And I think, see, Oliveira at 36%. Wexler 43%. The Wexler has better tires. And how is he treating them right now? Yeah, he's burning the engine instead. He's driving in better form. So it's not going to surprise me at all to lose that spot. But it looks like it backed off a little bit now, so maybe we won't. Holtz and Moreno were in, and they're going to Inters early. Just starting lap 19. I think it's going to be about a solid 3 laps before we really want to go there. I'm going to switch back to neutral. As we're getting close to the red zone on the tires, very close, about to hit it. And that's going to make it tough for Oliveira to hold off Wexler. But I'll live with it. And now the rain starts. And there he goes by. It's not going to pick up super quick though. I'm not going to come in on this lap. I'm going to go around at least one more. Wexler with the fastest lap of the day. And is definitely gaining. He does have better tires. We know. Now I think the tires are low enough and we're starting to get a little bit more water. Now's the time to come in. Switch to Inters. Hopefully I didn't click the come in too late. And Oliveira should be able to come in at the same time. Because it's very fast, it's just change the tires and get back out there. Wexler takes the lead. We go out on lap 23. And we're going to want to have Inters until when? Maybe 51? That'd be 28. About 14 laps. So let's say we come back in lap 37 about. We are 3rd and 7th. But the top cars who have come in for the pits, which is the important number. Right now maintaining the distance, or falling back a bit to Wexler, but that's not going to last long. Definitely far too early to try to push hard at all. Now Lipponen's starting to shave time off. And the longer they wait before they come in, the worse off they're going to be. We're definitely the only people that changed at the right time, except for maybe Vasquez. And that continues to be the fatal flaw of the AI in this game, the wet and dry tire changes, timing those out. In my opinion, it's the one, definitely the biggest area where you can gain a significant advantage over them. They're not great at using the energy either. They'll tend to use the speed burst too much, in my opinion, but they sometimes do alright with that. The wet and dry changes, almost always an issue. We've already shaved off multiple seconds. Okay, and now way too many cars trying to stay out on dry tires. Some coming in. Just going to keep gradually getting wetter. So in goes Wexler. And Lipinen chasing down Chapman, who is still out on soft tires. This is not going to be close. He's going to blow by him here pretty soon. There we go, on both sides. The tires are wearing down fast enough that I don't really want to push a lot. Maybe keep them up to about medium temperature, but that's about it. But this is a good enough time. Tires are getting low. And we're doing so well, I'm just going to save our condition and just stick with medium on the engine. And there are now just 16 cars on the lead lap. Now Wexler is trying to chase down Oliveira once again. And that could definitely be a thing, but I think Lipinen is going to be pretty safe from that. Saarinen back in 5th. And right now we would definitely win. Scuderia definitely 2nd. I think I want to stay on push for the tires for now. And if for no other reason, Oliveira has now got about a 2-second gap back to, there we go. Back to Dieter Wexler, and if we can keep that there, and Oliveira's driving much better now at 5.8. If we can keep that gap, keep her in front of him, that would really be nice. It's a big if, but we'll see if that happens. Lipinen 3.8. Not setting any records. He's moved up now to 15 cars on the lead lap. Continuing to work his way through the field. And Saarinen going in again. We are now halfway through, and looking for all the world like we are on our way to finishing 1st and 2nd. Which would be a great start, because I was fairly worried about this race, and it's not over yet. Let's not count our chickens, but fairly worried about this race due to the reliability of our parts. We weren't able to do any weight stripping. And so we should improve, relatively speaking, for a couple races. a couple, 3 races as we max out our reliability, get to do more weight stripping, and then it'll regress again as the other cars get more parts. But if we can turn in a race or two like this, anything we can add to that lead is going to be most welcome. Looks like we're going to come in, and we want to come in at 37, so that's 3 laps. That'll be our second of 3 stops. Yep, and I definitely have gone a little bit too far with the push, so I want to come back to neutral. I'm going to be shifting the tires again just into the red. So I normally don't like to do that, but we want to make sure we get through this wet period. And Lipponen, you're going to come in for a fresh set. And, the gearbox, not looking the best. But it'll do. Oliveira will come in as well. Riding at 6.0 and now a 3-second lead on Wexler. Wexler may try to ride out this entire rain period on those tires. Could be interesting. Lipponen up slightly, but still not driving the best. Another nice stop, less than 2 seconds. So Wexler is the leader by 6 seconds plus. And now we're targeting a stop at lap 50, 51, depends on what the weather's like. Probably 51 though, that's where I want to get to. And we're not going to push quite as much this time. Probably just cut it off a little bit sooner. And want to get there with as much tire left as possible. I don't see any way that Wexler makes it that long, though. He'll have to stop again for new tires during this set. For the moment, we're second and fourth, which would be enough to basically split the thing with Wexler. Saarinen back in 8th. And so having him finish that far back and not get a lot of points, obviously that's all to our benefit. Harry Chapman's right on Lipponen's heels for the moment. But he's basically got the same problem as Wexler, which is he hasn't stopped again yet, and he's going to have to. We're still fading compared to Wexler, which is interesting. Driving aggressively on low tires, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Up above, that's Moreno, or up ahead rather, it's Moreno that's going to come in. Chapman now really starting to challenge Lipponen for that second spot. He's going to have to gum in soon enough that, you know what, if he wants to burn himself out to get it, I'm going to let him have it. And there's Wexler in. I think this has to be the last lap that Chapman's going to pull. But Lipponen back up to lead, and Wexler on super softs with a wet track with almost half the maximum amount of water. Dieter Wexler, you're an idiot. Thank you for being one. Because it's going to benefit us. And now we've got to go to push on the tires. And Chapman is going to come in. So we're going to be back to first and second. "20 laps remaining." Sharp getting some repairs along with sitting in there. And is going to come out on a wet track on ultras. I mean, it's not that long until it dries out, but it's long enough you don't want to be out here on dry tires because you're just, I mean, you see Wexler just hemorrhaging distance, already 7-8 seconds. In the matter of like 2 or 3 laps, losing. You just can't make up that time. And of course, they don't want to make an extra pit stop, but you just got to plan it out better than that. And now the rain has stopped. It's fairly warm, so we're going to see the water more aggressively recede now. I don't know if we're going to make it to 51 laps. Like, we might want to come in before that. In either case, Lipponen up by 12 seconds on Oliveira with another 10-11 back to Wexler. A gap that for now is still growing. We'll go ahead and shift back to neutral. Just to make sure we don't run out of tire. And also, when Oliveira stops, you see now it's pretty equal. Like, Wexler is going almost as fast as Oliveira is. Okay. Now you can see he's gaining pretty significantly. See, where's Lipponen on the track? Yeah, we're close to wanting to... Yeah, and there you can see, like, Holt's just blah, blah, blah going by. The track is simply not wet enough anymore. So let's... Let me pause here for a second. Yeah, I mean, Wexler's just gaining too quickly. I would normally think about going down a little more, but I don't think I want to. I think I just want to stop and get... Now, this is going to be 15 laps to go. We should be able to make it on Ultras. But the thing about it is, Super Softs don't have a huge drop-off in performance, and that's what we got. We got the bonus on those. Although we didn't use it, so it doesn't matter. I mean, that's enough extra. We really should be able to make it on those. What about the temperature? Temperature probably a little warm for him. You know what? We're just going to play it safe with the Super Softs. For both drivers. Time to make our final stop of the day. Once again, less than 2 seconds. Flipping in and out, and does not lose the lead. Wexler behind, but has to do some repairs. We've got lots of extra fuel here. So that's going to be something to keep in mind. I think we're going to want to just back off more on the fuel at the start of upcoming races. Now, Wexler and Chapman have quite a bit of fuel. So it is possible they could finish the race. Or quite a bit of tire is what I meant. Possible they could finish the race on those. Going to be interesting to see what happens here towards the end. Lots of drivers going to Ultras, but they're the ones that are too far back. I think Wexler and Chapman are probably going to make it. So if so, where would we stand? Solid win. Oh, and Dieter Wexler retires with mechanical issues. Well, I mean, he was driving pretty aggressively on a car that needed to be repaired. I guess he just didn't... Boy, I mean, retiring with mechanical issues that early, you know, with 10, 12 laps to go. It's a guy trying to play chicken, and the guy who just won't turn out of the way, so... Now it's just equipment at Chapman. I mean, Saarinen's up to 5th. Probably gets another spot up to 4th, although he might have to come back in. But in either case, I mean, we're going to crush him now, which is nice. We're going to have a nice boost to that lead here. So an excellent first outing in our From the Ashes challenge. Don't quite want to push things yet there. But as far as the tires go, I do think we have enough to... Might as well just push with both drivers. See if Oliveira can close that gap on Chapman at all. And really carrying a lot of fuel. So I think that's the one change I'm going to make going forward, really, is just reduce more. And look at Chapman coming up like crazy. Alright, let's go high here for a bit. Just want to risk it because, I mean, I don't want to lose the winning position. Still not able to pull away. Gonna have to watch the condition closely. Still 7 laps left. Well, 6 now. And the water now almost completely gone. Go medium again now. Yeah, that gearbox not looking good for Oliveira. She's just going to sit there with her 6+ extra laps of fuel and deal with it. Lipinen's looking a little bit better. Yeah, Chapman coming up again. Four laps to go. How much tire does Chapman have left? 34%, so he's going to get into the red, but he's also probably going to finish. I'm hoping to have him burn himself out and not have enough tires to pass me at the end. So I'm making him work hard to catch us. Still looking alright. Might push a bit at the very end with Oliveira, who's driving 8.4 now, by the way. Lipinen at 6. Where's Chapman at? 6.1, so... Gonna have to back off on the tires soon. I'll do that with Oliveira now. Go neutral. Looking good, so let's just go for it. Fine there too. We'll go to overtake. Schmidt was in 5th, I believe, going wide around a turn. Saarinen is sitting at 15% on the tires, but we're on the last lap. And we'll go to push on the tires for this last bit. As Holt's attempting to get back on the lead lap, I don't think that's going to happen. And maybe it will. Yep. Holtz will get to do one more lap. And Oliveira in 3rd. So 1st and 3rd, Chapman in 2nd. That's pretty darn good. Chapman made it on only 2 stops. Got to give him credit. Saarinen in 4th, but Wexler retiring. So we could have been like 1st and 4th, and then Wexler 2nd and Saarinen 5th. And that wouldn't have been nearly as good for us. No rule breakers. We'll stick how it was. And you see no bonus points for the pole, no bonus points for the fastest lap. The points are much higher because top 10 instead of top 6 get them. So you just get more points per race. Everybody does. Lipponen 1st, Oliveira 3rd. We get 40 points. They get 12 for Saarinen. Very nice. And the injured Harry Chapman nearly beats us. So Lipponen doing well. Oliveira in 5th. Just behind Wexler and Chapman, who switch spots, and Sharp slides down to 6th. So Chapman all the way up from 6th to 3rd with that 2nd place finish. But a lead of 12 has swelled to 40 points, which is almost a race's worth of points. 25 for 1st, 18 per 2nd. So it's 43 points a race. We have almost a race worth of points near the halfway point. My psychic told me this would happen. And then they did collect the bet. Oh, how funny. Okay, so a 5.0 for Lipponen, 5.7 for Oliveira. All good stuff. Francis Marshall expected 2nd, but we come in 1st. Up to 10 million in the bank. So there's 9 races left, but a great start for Windsor Racing. Oliveira up from 6th to 5th. And we'll be heading off to Guildford next and continuing to improve the car. But we've got some breathing room now, and we've sort of got our feet wet, feeling good about things. So continue with more of this next time. Until then, thanks for watching. Motorsport Manager will return.